All right, the general form of the equation of a line is x squared plus y squared plus dx plus ey plus f equals to 0, where d, e, and f are real numbers. D, E, and F are real numbers. It can be positive, negative, 0. Um, so we're going to be looking at what happens if we have an equation of a circle that has been expanded and it's not in its original format that we're used to seeing here, as far as the standard form of the equation of a line, where we have the x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals to r squared. How do we go from this general form to the standard form? And how we're going to do that is by completing the square. We're going to complete the square. Now, we did a little bit of this earlier in the semester, but just as a refresher, let's say that I have a binomial that we have here, um, x squared plus 16x, and I want to make this binomial into a perfect square trinomial, meaning I want to go from two terms to three terms. Well, we're going to do that by completing the square, meaning I want to find a third term. Now, to find a third term, we're going to take half of the coefficient of the middle term. Well, here 16x is our middle term. You're going to take half of 16 and then square it. Half of 16 is 8, and we square that, which gives us 64. So to convert this binomial to a trinomial, we're going to add 64. This is a perfect square trinomial now. Now that it's a perfect square trinomial, we can write this in factored form, meaning a binomial squared. So we will write it as x plus 8 squared. So we're going to take the general form of the equation of a circle and we're going to transform that to standard form. So our first example we have here is x squared plus y squared plus 8x plus 6y plus 0 equals to 0. One thing we want this constant term, we want that by itself. So if we subtract 0 to both sides, it's still going to give us 0. But we'll do one where we don't have a constant that's 0. So next, what we want to do is gather our like variables. We have x squared plus 8x, leave a little bit of space, and then we have plus y squared plus 6y equals to 0. Now we're going to complete the square for our x term and our y terms. So for our x term, we're taking half of the middle term. So the middle term here is 8. So you're saying half of 8, and we're going to square it. So that gives us 4 squared, which gives us 16. So we're going to add 16 to the x term, but as we do that, think of an equation. What you do on one side, you have to do on the other. We're going to add 16 here. Okay. The next one, completing the square for our y term. Take half of 6, square it. We have 3 squared, which gives us 9. So we're going to add 9 to the y terms here to make this a perfect square trinomial, and we're going to also do that on the right hand side. So now let's take this our x squares, our trinomials, perfect square trinomials for the our base x and y. Let's make it into a binomial squared. So x squared plus 8x plus 16 is x plus 4 squared plus, then the last we have y plus 3 squared equals to, on the right hand side, 16 plus 9, which gives us 25. Now we took an equation that was in in general form, and we wrote it in standard form so we can easily find its center and the radius. So its center here we have -4, -3. Take the opposite. This is our h and k. Take its opposite. And then our radius, our r squared, is 25. And take the square root of that to find r. And we have r is equal to 5. So now we have everything that we need to graph this equation. So let's go ahead and do so. Our center is -4, -3. And then we're going to count over up, down, left, right, 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Let's start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is at 1, -3. Go to the left 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is -8, -3. Then we're going to go up 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then go down 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to count this again. All right, so we have everything. Make our circle. And there we go. There's our circle. Circle is not perfect, but you have everything that you need to make it as much as a circle as possible.